They call themselves the Alpha Dogs, not because they work with animals, but because they are the leaders of the pack when it comes to fighting for our veterans. Today, we're sitting down with Steve Mann, who went from volunteer warrior to advisory board to find out how a simple phone line is saving lives every single day. Welcome back to NVF Radio Check, the podcast where we cut through the noise to give you the intel that matters. I'm your host, Michael Alcorn. Today, we are sitting down with Steve Mann to talk about what it's like to go from Alpha Dog to advisory board. Whether you're active duty or civilian supporter, you are going to want to hear this perspective. Let's get right into it. Welcome, Steve.
Thank you for having me, Michael.
How are you today?
I'm doing just fine.
It's a pleasure to have you on the show, and I'm sure a lot of people would like to know. Because so far we've had veterans coming on telling their story. You're pretty much a volunteer, correct?
Right. I'm a civilian volunteer.
Let me rephrase that. I'm sorry. At first you were a civilian volunteer with the Alpha Dogs, but now you're on the advisory board, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. Is that still volunteering?
I'm still volunteering. There's no money involved.
No money at all. That, you know what? And we need more people like you. That's amazing that you do this for veterans. So, Steve, tell me, for those who's listening who might think an Alpha Dog involves canine training, can you set the record straight?
Okay. So the Alpha Dogs are made up of myself, my wife, Kathy, my sister-in-law, Susie, and our dear friend, Debbie. The four of us were sitting around one day and decided it would be both fun and rewarding to do some volunteer work for a nonprofit. Susie knew of a guy, an old friend of her mother, who ran a small nonprofit servicing veterans. She made an appointment with him, and the four of us headed down to the National Veterans Foundation.
So wait a minute, she knew Shad before?
She knew Shad, yeah. Her mother was a patient of Shad's years ago.
Oh, that's right. I remember that conversation before. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So we went down, we met up with Shad in the conference room, sat around a big table. Shad started talking, and within 2 minutes, I had already decided that this is where we needed to be.
It took you 2 minutes? Two whole minutes. At least I'm hoping he provided coffee during the time.
So I interrupted Shad and let him know we were in. I asked him, what do you need us to do as volunteers? And he answered in one word, fundraising. We decided the best way for us to fundraise was to put an event on for the NVF. We started throwing around ideas, and Shad wanted us to pick a name for our group. I started thinking about words they use in the military, and I came up with Alpha and Dogs. We put them together and called ourselves the Alpha Dogs.
Is that how the name came up?
Yeah,
that's how, and it just stuck for 40 years now?
It was just a spur-of-the-moment idea that came out of my head. Shad loved it, so we went with it. And it turns out everybody loves that name. I think it's the love for dogs that really makes it.
Yeah, canine companions.
We decided to put on a dinner with some music and comedy for entertainment. We gave out a couple of awards and had a silent and live auction. The girls put together the two auctions, which turned out to be a tremendous amount of work, and decorated the room with beautiful centerpieces on each table.
I believe you were mentioning Susie's an Alpha Dog, right? Is Susie an Alpha Dog as well?
She is. Susie is my sister-in-law. She is one of the Alpha Dogs and currently working here a couple of days.
Yeah, actually, she's
helping out with office stuff.
Yes, she is actually here too as well, helping out with us.
Yeah.
And we're a pleasure to have her. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Well, that's okay. So I did all the organizing of the event, invite list, the cater, the entertainment. And the funny thing is, we had never put on an event before. This was all new to us. I did have a friend who was an event planner who gave us some guidance to execute the event. The event turned out great, and we raised a lot of money. And that's how the Alpha Dogs began.
Man, you guys are like the special forces, man, of the fundraising for the NVF. That's actually really cool. Like you've been in the trenches with the team, organizing events, roasting the fundraiser Shad on his last birthday, and raising funds. Is there a specific moment or event that your time as an Alpha Dog made you realize, okay, this is where I need to be? This work is actually saving lives.
Yes. So there actually have been many moments that made me realize how the work the NVF does is so important to helping veterans and at times saving lives. That first moment for me was when I was working at one of the NVF events and I was passing out the Lifeline for Vets business cards, which has our phone number on it and all the information as to what we do for the vets.
Wow, you were passing those out?
I was passing them out to the event, yes. And I handed one out to a vet. I explained what we do and that he simply needs to call the hotline and we can help him. He took the card from me and said he couldn't believe there was a service like this.
Really?
Yes. And he started to tear up.
Really?
He started to tear up. And I realized just then how impactful the Lifeline for Vets can be. There have been times when I have been in the office and heard one of the information specialists talking on the phone with a caller. The compassion and thoughtfulness that they give to these vets calling is heartwarming. And that's really what motivates me and makes me just want to work harder and harder for the NVF.
Oh, hey, speaking of the Lifeline for Vets, a huge part of the Alpha Dog mission is supporting the Lifeline and our number is 888-777-4443. Once again, for all of you listening, that number is 888-777-4443. For our listeners who don't know, this is a actual vet-to-vet connection, not just a call center. So actually, you're probably the one that can explain this better than I can. Why is that vet-to-vet disconnection so critical when a veteran is in crisis, Steve?
Well, the vet-to-vet model is extremely important. Believe it or not, we are actually the first and only national toll-free crisis hotline that offers vet-to-vet counseling.
That's actually cool. That is actually amazing.
It is very cool. The reason that it's so important is very simple. It's about trust. When a vet calls in, they have to be able to trust the person that they're speaking with. Vets trust other vets. It's as simple as that.
That's so true.
It's because they share the same experience of being in the military. They know that the caller is going through what they're feeling and sometimes the hopelessness that these vets are experiencing. And believe me, there's many times where they call in and you could feel and hear the hopelessness in their voice. That's where the compassion and thoughtfulness comes in that I spoke about before. It's a model that's been effective for 40 years and counting.
That's a long time.
It is.
That is like the most long-standing an organization can actually be proud of.
It's amazing that we've been around for 40 years.
That's true. And, our goal has always been to extend the Lifeline hours ultimately to 24/7. But from your perspective as an Alpha Dog and now a advisory board member, what are the biggest challenges you think that we face, the NVF, right now in reaching that goal, and how is the team tackling them? I do got to add on that today, I believe we might have something, but that we're going to leave that for another show, and we're going to probably talk about this as soon as the show's over. But please, tell us how this team could tackle this.
Well, the biggest challenge, just like any other nonprofit, is of course the money. We are constantly trying to come up with ways to fundraise. There's a lot of There's a lot of competition out there for the donor dollar. One of the things that helps our fundraising is our consistent 4-star rating from Charity Navigate.
Oh, yes.
We have a great base of repeat donors, but unfortunately, that's not enough to get us to our goal. We need to constantly be out there finding new donors, and that's the challenge. Finding the right phone counselors and training them is also a challenge, but with the proper funding, it's a challenge that we can meet.
I know it's been a real struggle to even get finding a grant writer. I mean, that's a little bit of a struggle, but recently I know there's been an upgrade to that. So I'm hoping in the near future that things do go better, because every vet that we help, it is strictly from all the money that comes in from donations. So basically the people donating are like the heroes to everybody, including us. I mean, we appreciate everything that everyone does.
That's so true. And there's plenty of money out there. It's just a matter of finding out how to get it.
Exactly. And that is the little bit of a rough spot there.
Yeah. And that's
try to get it.
That's what we're constantly working on, is how do we get those dollars coming in to the NBF in order to achieve all of our goals.
Exactly.
And as you know, every dollar counts.
So true. So true. So you were recently promoted to the advisory board. Congratulations, by the way, man. Good job.
Thank you very much.
Moving from a hands-on volunteer role to a strategic advisory role is a big shift. How does this change the way you help the NVF? Do you have specific pet projects or new initiative way you want to, champion this new seat?
Well, first I'd like to say that being added to the advisory board, it's a big honor for me. It shows the trust that Chad and the board have in me.
Mm-hmm.
As a volunteer, I felt a little limited in my ability to go out and fundraise. Being on the advisory board gives me more opportunities to pursue different avenues of fundraising.
Nice.
I feel that in this new position, I can better represent the NVF when I'm out there pounding the pavement for money. I have access to the board meetings and will have a better knowledge of the direction and goals of the NVF. I do not have a specific pet project yet, but I am looking forward to working with the board and the other members of the advisory board to find new ways to fundraise.
So do you get to sit around a round table and vote who you want off the island?
No. This is very important. An advisory board member does not have the voting power on the board.
Really?
But their job, as it states in the title, is just to advise.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's people out there that would like to actually see the difference or know the difference in that, because, you see it on the letterhead of who's who, and then you're wondering, they're all together or what? So, but wow, you guys don't have the voting power, huh?
No, there's no voting power, but you do have, you can make a lot of good suggestions, and this particular board is very good at listening and taking suggestions.
Nice. There's an often a disconnect between the civilian population and the veteran experience. You've been very effective at bridging that gap. What is the one thing you wish civilians understood about the transition home for veterans, and how the MVF helps smooth that landing?
Well, having never served in the military, I feel that I bring that civilian perspective when I talk to the vets.
Civilian's perspective, from coming home?
Yeah.
Nice. Okay.
To gain their trust, I let them know that my volunteering at the NVF is my way of serving those who served.
So it's you go out there and brag about it.
I wouldn't call them bragging. I wouldn't call them.
No, I'm kidding.
I know you are.
Sorry. All right, continue. I apologize.
But the one thing I wish civilians would understand about veterans transitioning back to civilian life is that the military experience is unlike anything that a civilian has ever experienced. The military takes these young men and women and turns them into soldiers.
True.
When they leave the military, they have to leave that part of themselves behind. For some, that is very difficult. There are a lot of reasons these young men and women join the military. Some of them are doing it to get away from a bad situation at home. Those are the ones that have the most trouble readjusting to civilian life once they leave the military. The combat soldiers also have a difficult time readjusting. The things they see and are asked to do are things most people can't even imagine. It's not like
want to be in that position.
It's just not like you see in the movies. They come home with physical injuries, PTSD, and traumatic brain injuries. That's who we are there for. We connect all veterans with any type of service they need: a place to live, a job, signing up at the VA, getting their VA benefits, and more. Unfortunately, we also get a number of suicide calls. We have a great success rate with those calls, but those are the ones that weigh heavily on us the most.
So true. Yeah, I've been around for some of those calls, and it affects me a little bit. And I've seen what Lewis goes through. I've seen what Markham goes through. I'm now seeing what Nick goes through. It's, it takes a special certain someone to do that job. Honestly, it's not for me. I don't think I can do it. I don't have it. I would cry.
Yeah, it takes a special person to be a...
Yeah, it really does. I don't have it in me because I would feel so bad. And this is actually why all donations matter. You're not just giving money, you're actually saving a life.
Yeah, the money that we raise goes directly to helping these veterans.
Exactly. It's something that, like Shad would say, like invisible wounds and all the stuff going on, and these people think, oh, we're just giving money for this and that. No, it's actually helping people and making a good impact on what we can do. So, as of right now, we live in a time of charity fatigue, as we call it, where people are pretty much overwhelmed by causes. Why should someone choose to support the NVF right now? And what makes this organization efficiency or heart different from the rest? I'm sure everyone would like to know that one. Because I don't want to mention any names out there, but, we pride ourselves on what we do. So that's all I'm going to say about that.
Okay. Well, the NVF's in its 41st year of service. That's a number unheard of for nonprofits. Most are lucky to survive 5 years at best. So we can guarantee people that we are here to stay. As I stated earlier, we consistently receive a 4-star rating, their highest rating from Charity Navigator, and are one of their highest rated veteran nonprofits. We receive no government funding and rely solely on individual, corporate, and foundation donations. With all the fraud and scams we're reading about involving nonprofits, you could be sure your money is safe with us. Every dollar is carefully spent on our veterans. Shad Mashad is the heart and soul of the NVF.
Yes, he is.
He founded the NVF in 1985 and has dedicated his life to servicing and saving veterans. If you get a chance to meet and talk to Shad, you will know what I mean about being the heart and soul of this organization. He is really quite an impactful individual.
That's so true. I can't believe the stuff he's been through, the stuff he's done, and even considering the good and the bad, he's still doing it. There's been a few times where it's been really bad, but you know what? The guy never quit. Like, he kept going. He always tried to find a way to keep it going, to keep helping, to keep the fight on. And he's done it for 40 years. Oh, no. To him, before everything else, it was like 50 years, I believe.
Well, he served in Vietnam in 1970. And then when he got out of Vietnam, he actually went to work for the VA for 15 years.
That's right.
But then he realized that he could do a better job with his own foundation than what the VA was doing, and he proved them right.
Nice.
And for the last 40 years and counting, he's been just
killing it.
Nose at the grindstone, never gets deterred from his mission.
I would say he raised the bar, man. I don't think anyone can accomplish what he has.
Yeah, he's got unbelievable energy.
Yeah. Oh, man, that guy's a legend, man. So, speaking of our veterans, Steve, if there's a veteran out there listening right now who is on the fence about calling the Lifeline or perhaps feeling like they don't deserve the help, what would you say to them directly?
Well, first of all, they served our country. They sacrificed their freedom so we can enjoy ours. And those aren't just words. That is really true. It doesn't matter if they were a cook, clerk, a mechanic, or a combat vet. We are indebted to all of them for their service. Each and every one of them deserves our help. What I would say to them is that we have received over 550,000 calls over the last 40 years. It's simple. It's a simple phone call. Just do it. You've got nothing to lose and everything to gain.
Did you say 550,000 phone calls?
550,000. And it's not just from vets. It's from vets and their families.
That is a lot of phone calls.
Yeah, we don't just take care of vets. We take care of the whole family. Brothers, sisters, fathers, anyone that wants to call in can call us for help.
That is actually correct. We actually do a lot more help with the families and veterans. Please call us if you are in need. For our listeners inspired by your journey from volunteer to advisor, how can they become an alpha dog in their own community? What's the first step they should take, even to say if they want to help the NBF?
Well, the first step is to call the NBF and tell them you want to become a volunteer. It's so rewarding. You'll be volunteering for such a great organization. It's a fun and welcoming environment to work in.
Man, big time.
When I walk through that door, the days that I come into the office, I just get the biggest smile on my face because I'm in a place that I know that everybody loves what they're doing.
I've actually seen it.
Yeah.
You always come in with a big old smile. Once in a while, donuts, but yeah, mainly the big old smile.
Yeah, it's just a great environment to work in.
That is awesome. Well, Steve, please, if you have any closing remarks or anything you want to say, please feel free.
Well, it's an honor to work for such a great organization. It's been wonderful getting to know Shad. We've become pretty good friends as a result of this. And it's something that I want to continue doing for a very, very long time.
Yeah, thank you so much, man. I do appreciate your time and your story here today, and I'm sure the listeners do too. All right, guys, that is the end of our show today for NBF Radio Check. Please turn in next time. I believe we're going to do a part 2 with Gerald Hillard. We haven't quite got all of his story yet, and it's very, very interesting. So once again, I am your host, Michael Alcorn. Please, everyone out there, watch your 6. I'm out.